Well, when you're flying to South Dakota, they make you walk on the runway to the plane. Well, the first time in years, I'm back home on the farm. I don't know if anybody cares about this kind of thing, but I'm just gonna show you all the places from my childhood, basically. So, Planet Peterson origins story. Let's check it out. I'm gonna apologize for the wind noise. In South Dakota, it is never not windy, and we're on top of a hill here on the farm, so that makes it a little bit worse. But yesterday, the wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour, steady the whole day. Dad and I, there he is, we went for a walk around the farm, and I'm not kidding, we had to lean forward when we walked in order to go anywhere. So this is as good as it gets. Here's the old homestead. We built this addition ourselves. My dad's extremely handy, as you will see. There's so much stuff that he's done here. But yeah, this house was built in 1918. It's pretty ancient, and it kind of shows. Well, this was my room. It didn't look anything like this when I was growing up. The wood paneling is all pretty new, but it's kind of just been turned into a sports memorabilia thing. Just pictures of me at state track, state cross country, senior picture, stuff like that. But no, my little tiny bed was right here, and it's always been the library. My dad's got, I don't know, 1,000 books or something like that. So, yep. So you come up the driveway here. This is the main yard. This is the pasture and CRP land out that way. There's a slough, a lake out there. Old windmill. It never operated when we were the whole time we lived here. I have climbed up to about there before, but that was so unbelievably terrifying that that's as high as I ever got. Never made it to the top. Who knows? Maybe one day. Old chicken shed. We never had chickens in it, but you know, I mean, that's technically what it is. And then here's the main yard. I mowed this when I was a kid. It would take, I don't know, 3-4 hours to mow everything. Lots of time, boring hours spent on the riding mower. Unfortunately, it's March, but in late July, all these gardens, it's really incredible the way my dad just transforms this place. It's so colorful and so beautiful. He's been doing it for years and years and years. He really knows what he's doing. So just for the record here, the tallest trees, the ones that look kind of you know dead, but the tallest ones, those are natural. Those have been here forever. Literally, I'm not kidding. Everything else, including the shorter trees, is all artificial or man-made. My dad planted every single one of them, and there's hundreds and hundreds of them. And all the stonework you're gonna see here, this is literally just done mostly him by himself. I did build some of this with him when I was younger, but he would just grab a wheelbarrow, some bags of cement, a shovel, mix it up. These are field rocks. This part of the state is called the Glacial Lakes region. So everywhere you look out here, it's all rolling hills, and the soil is really heavy in gravel and large boulders, and they all look different. You'll see that when we get up here. So that's because the rocks that were dragged here by glaciers cover an area of, like, they're sourced from an area of thousands and thousands and thousands of square miles, because that's how glaciers work. Again, more gardens. And more trees. Again, every single tree that's, you know, less than 50 feet tall was planted by my dad, and he does all the upkeep with this kind of stuff. So take a look at the gazebo. The roof there, and we have 2 gazebos, the other one's over there. The roof there, that's a satellite dish that he painted it bronze. But yeah, it looks really incredible, and you can see, I'll get a close up here. These are those field stones I was telling you about. They're all different colors. So this is not the bedrock, because you don't get bedrock of multiple different materials in one place. These are all glacial stones just dragged here over hundreds and thousands of years, over a period of hundreds and thousands of years. But yeah, here we are inside. Kind of a shame it wasn't here when I was a little kid. Would have spent so much time out here playing make-believe or whatever, but it's easy to appreciate it as an adult too. And we come to this little seating area here. I built a lot of this originally. I got a hernia from doing this because we had to dig all the soil out of here and then just dump it in the tree line over there, so that the rocks would sit in the ground. And yeah, I worked too hard, too fast on that, and gave myself a hernia. So that was a wonderful summer. This is pretty new. This did not exist 5 years ago, or even like 2 years ago, I don't think. So he built this just kind of all by himself. Again, wheelbarrow, like literally no machinery at all, just simple machines, a wheelbarrow and a shovel and his bare hands, and he just piles everything up and lays down the cement and the mortar and builds the thing up. Just kind of gives you a beautiful little area to sit in. But here we have Castle Peterson. I wish the sun was in a better spot, but yeah, how many of you have a family castle? Because I do. Doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't have rooms. You just kind of go in here and you can have a seat. There's little windows, so you know, if the invading army or anything ever comes in, you can shoot at them through the windows. It's pretty nice. And then there's some platforms up here. Okay, I have climbed the castle. Try to give you a little bit of an aerial view here. So there you go. I mean, all that out there, I'll see what I can show you guys, but that's all our land. Pretty much most of what you can see out there. I don't know what it is. It's 200 something acres or something like that. There's our second gazebo. We'll go take a look at that. There's the home. Driveway, these are the gardens that I walked around at the beginning. The old chicken shed out there. So yeah, you know, my dad, he has never had internet. He doesn't, he just got a cell phone, and it's a flip phone. So yeah, I mean, I spend my downtime, I mean, I do a little bit of reading, but it's mostly, you know, playing video games, content creation, yelling at flat earthers online. But you spend a decade just being bored and deciding, I'm gonna plant trees, I wanna build megalithic structures, I'm gonna garden. You definitely leave behind, you leave your footprint behind. So I don't know, maybe this is a lesson to all of us. Maybe we need to throw some things away or take some time outs and learn to be bored, because boredom's a good motivator. There's I don't know, there isn't too much else to do out here. Amazing hunting, but you know, that's only part of the year. So pretty impressive. You can't look at this and not be impressed. This is almost brand new. I mean, it's only like a year old. I've never even seen it before. So there used to be a grain bin here, and they have this cement foundation. Grain bin was taken down because it wasn't storing any grain. I mean, it wasn't doing anything. So my dad decided he needs to build another gazebo with another satellite dish roof. So here we are. You can sit here in your old rocking chair, watch the birds, listen to the birds. I don't know, grab an Arnold Palmer, put it right there, do some rocking back and forth. Just listen to the nature, I guess. It's city folk like me can't really stand to do this for more than about 5 minutes without getting bored. Says a lot more about me than this way of living. This way of living is pretty. Ooh, I just heard some geese. This way of living, it's pretty great, actually. So we're leaving that area, and then we're gonna go. Where do I want to go? We're gonna go out here, and I'll show you our cabin and the lake that we look over, I guess. Once again, he's revving up the Polaris or whatever those things are called. Once again, every single one of these artificial. These trees, the tallest trees, are natural, but the shorter evergreens inside there, I mean, there's just hundreds and hundreds of the things. He planted every single one of them. I do, if memory serves me correctly, these really tall ones were always here, but everything else is done by him or by us. We built this cabin, zero blueprints. My dad, he just knows how to do this kind of thing. We just literally, I remember it, I was in 8th grade, we just started building it right here. We built the A-frames, or whatever they're called, and just literally carried them over here. Again, no equipment, no pulleys or ropes even. I mean, just absolutely nothing. Just nailing it together by hand. And then we'd come over here with a frame and he'd be like, just hold the goddamn thing before we go get the other one. So, yeah. More of this cut field stone. Makes the porch, patio, whatever we call this, seating areas, fire pit. There we go. And, oh yeah, I said there was a lake. There it is. But whatever. And actually, that farm right there, that's where my dad grew up. So he, after so many years, ended up right across the lake he grew up in. So how about that? Not really much out there to look at. I mean, it's just more of our land. It doesn't go all the way out like to those trees out there, by no means. It goes about to that tree you can see alone, and then goes straight up to the water. Goes out to some gravel road, but then pretty much everything you see out here up until that field, that's our land out that way too. But again, here's the cabin that we built. It's had a little bit of changes to it, but really just like the tin roof. I mean, that's new and it's been stained, but otherwise, like the way it's built, the construction, it's just been left alone ever since we made it. When I was in high school, we would invite people out here, and this is where we'd have our weekend parties. Because we could get away with a lot of stuff out here. Because we're out in the country, just kind of left alone. Don't have to worry about some busybody or some Karen mom coming out here and be like, what the heck are you kids doing? I mean, to be honest, maybe we could have used a little bit of supervision, but whatever. I don't know if you can hear them, but that's about, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 snow geese out there on the lake. I can hear them. I don't know if the cameras or my AirPods are gonna actually pick it up, but yeah, it's snow goose season apparently. I've been seeing hundreds and hundreds, and well, actually no, literally thousands of them since I got home a couple days ago. That's really impressive. How many of them there are, and then there's ones out in the sky all the way out there too. So yeah, as far as hunting goes, I was talking about that earlier. As a kid, this place was just an absolute paradise. We would just take it was actually, we didn't have a boat, but we had a sled. It was called an otter sled, just this big black sled. I couldn't believe when I saw this, although I should believe it because, I mean, the junk we have here goes back so long. That's it. This is the otter sled. When we were really little, my dad would tie it to the hitch on the truck here, and then he would drive around the property when there was snow, really slowly. But when we were kids, it felt like we were going a million miles an hour. But no, yeah, this was our hunting boat, quote unquote, just for my brother and I. But no, hell, I mean, it's a boat shop. You could, an adult could go out in that. It's not. I don't know how stable it would be, but there it is. Dad would just put his waders on, drag us out there. Usually, there's a lot more reeds. Dad's actually here. How come there aren't any reeds in the lake? Is it just
They've
deeper?
all pretty much got too deep and they just disappeared and they haven't ever grown back.
Yeah, because there used to be quite a lot of them.
Used to be half covered with weeds.
Is that because of the tiling?
Well, that we had all that rain. It kind of disappeared about 1998 or 2000, and the weeds just drowned out and never came back.
Anyways, we would just he'd just pull us out there, and all this empty space, there would be little pockets of muskrat houses and reeds everywhere, so you could just hunker down perfectly. And the birds would come in like crazy. Migration patterns have changed kind of nationwide. We're like smack dab in the middle of the country. And I don't know if it shifted east or west, but I mean, this part of the country, I know there's thousands and thousands of lakes, well over 20,000 of them around here. So it's a haven for the birds. They stop and they rest, or they feed, and then during migration they come through this area. But yeah, you could go out there and get your limit every single day. We never fished. Nobody in my immediate family ever really cared about fishing, but pheasant hunting out here in the grass, some years it'd be hit or miss, but a lot of years is pretty good. And then there's always deer around. We chased some deer out of the tree line yesterday, actually. After this, I'm going to show you the town that I went to school in and grew up in. My parents were separated, but town was only 12 miles away, and that's where my mom lived. So I'll show you all those places. I lived in that house for a few years. Corey Anderson, he was my neighbor. Yeah, we were in the same class. He and I always got into fights, and we would hate each other. And then the next day we'd, I don't know, be playing again. But yeah, from like preschool to first grade or something like that, lived here in Brant, South Dakota. There's the Brant Auditorium. Oh man, I wish I could show you the inside. There's a basketball court in there, but the building is so narrow that the 3-point arc doesn't go, like the 3-point arc hits the out of bounds line. It's not regulation by any means. And then this is the softball field. A lot of memories running around here playing as a little kid. I mean, there's absolutely nothing here, but when you're a little kid, it's I don't know, you're not really picky. But yeah, this is living in a tiny, tiny, tiny little town in the rural part of the country. It's very different from what I do now. There's Highland Lutheran Church. So I did my first Bible school for the first few years of when I was going to Bible school, I guess, in here. Lots and lots and lots of memories in this place. Really good memories. Actually, in the basement, they would do, they'd have soup potlucks, and all the old people from town, they would bring their homemade chicken and dumpling soups and chili, and oh man, that was some of the best food ever. Well, now I'm in Clear Lake, South Dakota. So I spent a pretty good chunk of years here, 10 years or whatever. Lived in a bunch of different places. My mom kind of moved around, so I'll show you those places. But yeah, it's a small little town. Looks mostly the same as when I was here, for the most part. The best pizza growing up, you can't see the building, it's right over there, Pizza Shack. I just placed an order, so I'm gonna go there and eat. But right next to Pizza Shack, this is, I lived in this apartment for a few years. I don't want to get shot, so I'm not going to stand in front of there and film anymore. But yeah, I don't really have very many memories. I do remember one time I was walking home from school, and there was a fox in that little, you barely saw it, the little alley right there. And I had never seen a fox before. It's like the most beautiful thing I ever saw. But other than that, I mean, I can remember a couple things living there, hanging out with Nathan Drake. We made a cookie that was like the size of a pizza one time. We took all the cookie dough and just mashed it all together. And yeah, that's about it. Cowboy Country Store. I used to walk here to buy Jones soda. I'm gonna see if they have it. They did not. So I guess I'll I'll go eat my pizza now. I don't plan on filming inside of there, but way back there was a little arcade. By arcade, I mean I think they had one game or maybe two games, and a pool table. But yeah, lots of memories coming here, eating pizza as a kid, going to the back room and just goofing around and playing the jet ski, or no, it was a speedboat racing game. Wow, this is awkward. This is the Catholic church that I grew up in. I got baptized, confirmed, all that good stuff here. Actually, a lot of good memories here too. Well, it looks exactly the same. Every bit of it. Same statue, same Stations of the Cross. Same pews, same holy water holder. Yeah, everything. So after Mass, we would all gather here, and the local bakery always brought rolls, and I always got a jelly roll because that was my favorite. And yeah, we would sit here and eat. This looks a lot nicer than it did when I was here. The carpet and stuff is new, but yeah, that's where the classrooms are. Huh. Well, this is the city park, one of them. There's kind of another one way out by the lake, but not too much. The pool is right here. I always loved the pool. I could never get any of my friends to want to come. I remember when they built those slides, and then they still have them. That duck thing wasn't here when I lived here. Not when I was a kid, at least. Well, here's the baseball field. Tons and tons of memories on this baseball field. I actually, I kid you not, I don't remember how old I was. I have the baseball at my dad's place. Yeah, I'll try to remember to find it. But I hit a grand slam. It went over the fence right at that light pole. Right there. I was left-handed, so I was sitting right here. This is a slow pitch. when the coach pitched to you. Yeah, it's only like a 200-foot fence. But I was only like 4th or 5th grade or something like that. Couldn't believe it. I think I started crying while I was running the bases, and I was just screaming, "No way!" I don't know when all this changed, but this bridge didn't used to be here. There used to be a fence all along here, and I swear the banks weren't this high, but there were also way more trees. Because Nathan Drake, Philip Smith, and I, we would come down here because there was a barbed wire fence, like I said, and we always felt badass. We'd have to sneak over the fence. We would go down and we would hang out in this creek all the time. We would catch crayfish. That was kind of the fun thing to do. There'd be a lot of bullheads in the water every now and then too, and we would like throw rocks and shit at them. Stupid stuff like this. But yeah, this is really pretty. I wish it was green. It would look nicer, but this creek goes out there into some wildlands or whatever, and we would there would be carp in this creek, and a couple times we would, like way out there, my old house out there, you could walk along the road and climb over another fence like this one here and get in the creek, and we would walk that creek all the way to here, and we would spearfish the carp, because I mean there'd be hundreds and hundreds of the stupid fish in there, and people were glad that you would kill them. I think technically we were trespassing though, so probably weren't supposed to do that. But yeah, no, this is different. I don't know what they did here. They cleared out a lot of brush, it looks like. Here's my old school. I think I'll go pass out some pamphlets telling these kids the earth is flat. Well, over there's Dad's farm, and right here where we are, this is where Dad grew up. Grandma and Grandpa aren't with us anymore, but they pretty much raised me for several years out here on the farm. It was very different when I grew up. There was an apple tree there. This was pasture, so there were cattle in here, and there were fences all the way up there. Now this land is farmed for corn and beans, I would assume. there's a red porch, and had yellow siding when I was a kid. None of these, this was all trees over here. It's actually pretty wild to see it like this, but the yard only went to like right here, and then it was all trees throughout here. And my cousin Blair and I, we'd come out here and we'd play in the trees. It's kind of the classic, it felt so much bigger when you were younger kind of thing. But yeah, here's the patio. That hasn't really changed. I think it had a railing. I don't really remember. Grandma and Grandpa, they had a garden right here. So that's definitely long gone. That was the burn pit where they burned their trash. And yeah, a lot of it kind of looks the same. Oh man, the basement in this place, I don't think I'll be able to show you, but it had a furnace down there. My dad, they grew up just completely, just like very poor farm boy, right? So yeah, they had an actual furnace in the basement. That's how they heated the house back in the 50s, 60s, 70s when my dad was a kid. But just being in there and like looking into the grates of that furnace, you just thought a goblin was gonna pop out at any second. At least when you're a little kid, that's what you think. Over here, so this red barn. Oh, now I don't remember. I want to say there was another structure here, but I don't remember. I'll ask my dad. But they would keep hay in here, the big round hay bales, and they would stack them up. And I gotta tell you, almost nothing is more fun when you're a little kid on a farm with no internet, nothing else to do, than having your own basically like personal jungle gym made of hay bales. Because again, when you're a kid, the hay bales are huge. And so, you know, you climb up, some of the hay bales are stacked 3 high, some are only stacked 1 high. So you'd climb up and jump off and roll around into them. It's miraculous we didn't get catastrophically injured doing that, but I don't know. Maybe kids were tougher back then. Now, what do we got in here? Not much. Yeah, not much. Here's one of the barns. I'm not sure if I ever really went in here, but you can see, shame on me, I don't know what you call it, but the little gates or pens or wherever where the cows could hang out. This is an oddly specific memory, but I remember this pump, and yeah, you hand cranked it and the water came out, but there was this powdered milk that every now and then I would mix it. My dad helped milk cows out here for a few years when I was really little, but I would help mix the powdered milk with the water, and that had a really distinct smell, and I remember really liking it. I don't think we have any powdered milk lying around, so I'm probably not gonna get to remember that one. But this is the milking barn. I haven't been in here in so long. All right. I don't remember this. Oh, I remember this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have my dad come and tell us how this works. But yeah, the milk would go into here. But geez, yeah, I don't even know. I can't really tell you much. I got a water heater in here, but yeah, this is where the cows would come in, and I would sit. I don't know, there used to be a bench or something, but I remember I would sit right there. I'd watch them come in. This must have opened the gate or something like that. But yeah, I'd watch them come in. Yep, they'd eat right there, so they'd be nice and comfy. What I don't see are any of the actual apparati or whatever. We did not milk them by hand. There was these 4 suction cup things that you'd suction cup to the udder, and then the milk would, I don't remember, it probably went through this, I guess. Yeah, this was, well, for me, it was the late 90s, so no, you couldn't sit there with an iPad or a Game Boy. I mean, I guess I could have had a Game Boy. I just never did. This is, yeah, that was the only form of entertainment. All right, Dad, so how did the setup work here?
Well, basically that was the where the cows ate and where they slept, and then we'd run them into that barn to have them milked, and then back to this barn for the rest of the day until we milked them again at night.
That's their food was kept in those silos?
Yeah.
Is that all they were for?
And we milked at 5 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock at night every day.
Until or at?
At.
Oh, okay, yeah. So no 12-hour days?
The milk went up into these pipes.
And then I think the pump is, there's some sort of pump down there, right?
Yeah, that's the milking where you get the pressure, and then the milk would go up into these things, and it would pipe it around. There used to be a hole there, and it would pipe it around there, and then there used to be a big, oh, there is. This thing would fill with milk, and it would trip a thing, and the milk would go into the big tank.
Okay, yeah, I remember watching this operate when I was little. So would you, would you do 4 cows at a time, or could you just?
You could do 4 at a time. By the time you put the milker on, the milker on, the milker on, the milker on, and then
It'd be time to unhook the first one?
They'd be about done, so you'd let them out one at a time, but you always had 4 in here.
Yeah.
And then probably 3 of them were actually milking, and get them ready to.
So that's how you let them out, and that's how you let them in.
And here was their feed that came down from upstairs. Ugh, that's froze up, but up there was ground feed, and once a week you'd have to fill that up with ground feed.
Sophisticated operation.
Shell the corn and turn it into ground feed, and